Hello, my name is Danny, and I'm going to review A Quiet Passion. It was come out this year, and it is directed by Terrence Davies. So, not really sure who he is or anything, but this is a decent movie. I'm going to run through my positives first. First of all, I went into this movie only knowing like minimal information, and basically from the front of the cover is that it's about Emily Dickinson, and I know who that is because I actually went to school. I actually learned some things. So that's about it. It's about all I knew. Emily Dickinson. Okay. Well, that means it's a true life story, and it's about an old period of time, and that's usually where I get lost, and I'm like, okay, I don't really care, and do I really want to watch it? So, when I started laughing at lines in the first, 20 minutes of this movie, I was like, whoa, cool, that's cool. Okay, so, being religious myself, I had a line about hymns not being really music, and they were at the opera, and I was like, oh, that's funny. So it started out like really witty and had these great characters, and they all played off of each other really well. And then it really turns into a drama. So if at the midpoint you're wondering what's going on and why is this slow, that's why. It kind of gets to be what it wants to be in the second hour. So there you go. The Aunt Elizabeth character, she is only in the first part, but she really made most of the movie for me. And it's like you almost forget about her at the end. But for me, her character is so developed and so what everybody would say, oh, I have a relative like that. She just stood out. And I'm going to have to look up who that lady was, because if she's been in some other things, I'm going to have to check up on her. So just for you who are going to watch this and then watch my other videos, I really only just make my review right after I watch the movie. I don't live in LA. I don't live in New York. I'm just a guy that's watching movies and reviewing them, and I make them right away. This is my raw emotion, okay? So anyways, there's two time jumps in this movie. The second one kind of skips over and you're like, oh, when did that happen? But the first one is really cool, and you're going to have to watch the movie to enjoy it yourself, because I don't know what the budget was for this movie, but to be able to do what they did was like, oh, cool. And then the rest of the movie kind of happens, and it all makes sense. But the way they handled that first time skip was, I thought, pretty impressive. Really amazed by that. And then right in the middle, at the end of the movie, I kind of feel like they didn't really need to talk about this, but the fact that they did really added depth to the movie. With the Civil War, they mention it, and the fact that the person they brought it up for didn't even go and fight, I was like, okay, well, why'd we even bring it up? Oh, it was during that time period? Oh, okay. Also, something was invented, but they didn't bring that up, so whatever. But really, once you're watching it, you're like, oh, wow, I didn't know all that about Civil War, and that's kind of cool. And so I thought it was cool coverage, I guess. And then lastly, being a religious person, maybe you're not, and maybe you won't enjoy this, but the music in this movie, just makes a person think that about when they were growing up, all those good old tunes. So I appreciated that, and I always will. When a movie is about something and it adds something nostalgic like that, I appreciate it. So, there's lots of other good things, I'm sure, but here's my negatives. Right away, the movie opens, and you're like, oh, she's in a nunnery or whatever. She gets taken out of there like 2 minutes into the movie, and they never really explain why she was there. I guess we're left to assume a lot. Maybe that's her schooling, or maybe she was thinking about becoming a nun, then she didn't like it, and then it's very apparent throughout the movie that she would not have made a good nun. But at the beginning, you're like, well, why is she there? You know, I mean, it just never gets explained. So I was waiting for it the whole movie. And then the mother character. Oh boy, I was sitting here going, well, what is she doing? Why is she there? What's her purpose? And then they come back to her like half an hour later, half an hour later, and half an hour later, and she just there. And I was like, really felt sorry for her. So I just didn't get anything from her at all. The character, the actress, everything about her was just kind of awful. So it was tormental to watch that. And then I know there's a lot of different things that movies can't explain along the way or afterwards or pre-story time, and that's why we get sequels and pre-movies and all this other stuff. But the sister in this movie really delivers a performance. But they never explain why she wasn't getting called, why she didn't get married, why she didn't go and try out a dream, why anything, just nothing. Just nothing about her. It's all about Emily Dickinson. And I'm like, oh, cool, I understand why, but you could have given her a little bit something. I mean, she's just kind of there and kind of like her sidekick, and a lot of times she's just left to laugh at a joke, and I was like, oh, I feel sorry for her. So that's my last critique of the movie. Overall, I'm going to have to give it C+. Average, entertaining, good music, good actresses, but a lot of holes of not explained things, and it's about a historical figure, so there's a plus, but C+. I enjoyed it enough. They don't make many movies nowadays without cursing and violence and all that other stuff, and there's a lot in this movie that I'm going to let you figure out and let you see. So, yeah. A Quiet Passion. Decent watch, and I suggest it if you want to watch a okay movie. That's all I got for you. Sorry. If you like this, hit subscribe, please. I'm going to keep the movies reviews coming. Thanks.